Let's talk about IELTS writing part 2. And this is where a lot of confusion happens when we have to decide between the body paragraphs. So task 2 has multiple types of questions, right? Discuss both sides, what is your opinion, and so on. Every question has a different structure, and we're going to discuss the 7 main types of questions. We're also going to discuss what kind of structure they should have, what points you should put in each body, and how many bodies you should have. This is crucial for task response, first of all. How you'll organize information will make sense to the examiner on how you're conveying the information, and the structure, which is the mark for your cohesion and coherence. So let's talk about it. The first type of question, discuss both sides. Here you can do 2 bodies or 3 bodies. I'll tell you what commonly happens. Commonly people do 2 bodies, okay? So the discuss both sides question, they're going to do 2 points on one side in body 1, 2 points on the other side in body 2, and that's what most people do. You should not do that. You shouldn't do something that most people do, but it is an easy way to do it. If you cannot do the complex way, do it this way, but now I'm going to tell you the complex way, which is way better. The complex way is to do 3 bodies. How you organize 3 bodies is body 1, you talk about your point, body 2, you talk about the other side, 1 point each. Body 3, you talk about both sides, okay? So when you do this, you still have 4 points. And now you've shown the examiner that you can do a complex structure, something with 3 bodies, which rarely people do. But every time you're more unique, you get more marks. So I will suggest doing 3 bodies for discuss both sides question, but you can also do 2, all right? Now in the intro, so there's intro and the bodies and conclusion, by the way, right? So in the intro, you're gonna give your opinion. In the conclusion, you're gonna rephrase your opinion. That's the structure for discuss both sides. Let's talk about the very popular question, what is your opinion, or to what extent do you agree, or what do you think? These kinds of questions, all right? For these questions, you should have 2 bodies. Intro should be your opinion, conclusion should be rephrasing your opinion. Each body should have just 1 point. Don't do more than 1 point. Examiners just want 1 point in body 1, 1 point in body 2. Here, you want to elaborate 1 point in detail. You can give examples. Examples are always optional. People make a big deal about them, but it is optional. I do like to give at least 1 example in the essay, so we can show the examiner that we're capable of doing that. So, for example, if you do it in body 1, you should gain marks for the range of vocab, because you're explaining something with an example with more detail, right? If you do it in body 2, it doesn't have a big impact now because it's, again, you have repeated that. But at least doing it once shows the examiner how you can take a point, make it more descriptive with the example. So in this type of question, the opinion questions, make sure to talk about one side only. If you support something, body 1 should be why you support it, body 2 should be also why you support it. Body 1 is one reason, body 2 is another reason. You can do both sides here too, like people do a body 1 on one side, body 2 on the other, but we have noticed people don't score well when they do that. It's much better that you do just one side, because we have seen students score better if they just stick to one-sided opinions in this type of question. Okay, let's talk about the direct question. The direct question is the one where you have 2 questions that are being asked. For example, globalization is taking place in the world. Number 1, why is this happening? Number 2, how can this benefit humanity? In these questions, you need to do 3 bodies again. Again, the simplest structure is doing 2 bodies, 1 body for one question, 1 body for the other, but everybody does that. You want to do 3. In the intro, you have opinion. Conclusion, you have rephrasing of your opinion, same thing. But now in the 3 bodies, how you divide them is body 1 will answer question 1, body 2 and 3 will answer question 2. You can also do it the opposite way. You can do body 1 and 2 answering question 1, and body 3 answering question 2. So it's completely your decision which bodies go to which question. Okay, you can give 2 bodies or 1 body to any question you like. In the example that I mentioned, if, for example, the second question is, what are the benefits of globalization? So we should talk about benefits, which is plural. So here it makes sense for me to do 2 bodies. 1 benefit in one body, 1 benefit in the other body. What you got to understand is mostly you want to keep 1 point per body. Okay, so here we're doing the same things. If you are doing 3 bodies, you have 1 point per body. Okay, So if you want to have an answer like something like benefits, where you would have at least 2 points, give it 2 bodies. So you ultimately decide if you give a question 1 body or 2 bodies in this case. Okay? The next type of question is, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? All right, a very common question. In this case, you want to do 3 bodies again. Here's how this works. In the intro, you mention your opinion. You're going to say maybe the advantages of this are more than disadvantages. In the conclusion, you rephrase the opinion. Now, if you have said your advantages are more than the disadvantages, you should have 2 bodies on advantages, 1 body on disadvantage. It's common sense too, right? It is your opinion. You want to talk about that more, defend it more compared to the other opinion. If you talk about the other opinion more, it doesn't make sense at all, right? So 2 bodies for your side and 1 body for the other side. In each body, you just have 1 point, 1 point per body. Okay, keep that rule in mind. All right, the next type of question we have is the advantages. Now we're going to go to the descriptive ones: advantages, disadvantages, causes, effects, and problems and solutions. So you can get any combination of these questions. You can get advantages and effects. You can get causes and solutions instead of causes and effects, or instead of problems and solutions. So in these cases, you would do 2 bodies for any of the descriptive questions. These questions do not require your opinion. So you do not say in the in the intro, in my opinion, or anything, okay? Because this is just saying what are the advantages and disadvantages, what are the causes and effects. So here you talk like a reporter. If you're a reporter, you're being asked to explain the causes and effects of the president's new technique. You will not give your opinion. You will state the facts, right? In this case, also, we change another thing. We do 2 points per body because the question is always in plural. What are the advantages and disadvantages, causes, or effects? So it's always plural form. So what we're going to do here is, in the intro, we're going to mention briefly the advantages and disadvantages are this, briefly. In the conclusion, you're going to rephrase the intro. In body 1, you're going to talk about 2 advantages. Body 2, you're going to talk about 2 disadvantages. Simple. If there's causes and effects, same thing. Intro and conclusion will briefly mention what the causes and effects are. Body 1 is going to talk about 2 causes. Body 2 is going to talk about 2 effects. And then same thing for problems and solution. You have intro and conclusion mentioning them briefly. Body 1 is 2 problems. Body 2 is 2 solutions. Okay? You will notice that throughout all these structures, we are gaining marks on coherence and cohesion. How? In the advantages, disadvantages, for example, we mentioned in the intro, these are the advantages, disadvantages, briefly. You explain them in the body paragraphs, and then you conclude again with rephrasing them briefly. Same thing with the other types of questions like causes, effects, or problems and solutions. When you talk about advantages outweighing disadvantages, you mention your opinion first. You have 2 bodies on your opinion first, then 1 body on the other. When you have the simple question, the what is your opinion question, that's what we call simple questions, you have your opinion mentioned in the intro, and then you have both bodies supporting your opinion. So it's like a flow. Every question is developing a flow. In discuss both sides, if you choose 2 bodies or 3 bodies, regardless, you talk about both sides equally. Like you have 4 points in total, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. So this way, you gain marks for coherence and cohesion. You also keep everything structured, and you know clearly what you got to do, because online, if you check samples, you'll see a bunch of different bodies for a bunch of different questions, and they change with the next question. So this is the guide you can use confidently. This is what works. This is the thing you need to apply every time in the exam and reapply at home with practice. And if you want more practice, please do subscribe to our channel, like, share if you found value in this video, and we'll talk soon. Take care.